everybody. Welcome to Expression Pass here on Boss Network. I'm your host this episode, Eddie V. Joining me is Jack Brough from the Boss Writer team. Hey, Jack.
Hey, how's it going, Ed?
It's going good. We have a good topic for you guys. As you can see, we're going to be talking about some aspects of video games, and it all comes from a series that I started writing called The Beauty of Video Games. And it's a thing that celebrates all things video game related, even seeing some of the flaws that a company or a game has had, there's still beauty in it because maybe the sequel or something, like they learned from it and they make the game better. But it's more of a celebration. And I'm here with Jack because I want to ask him, Jack, what does the beauty of video games mean to you? What do you find beautiful about them?
Lots of different aspects. First thing that comes to mind would definitely be how certain experiences are portrayed just through gameplay. It's like no other medium. It's not like TV or a book or even a movie. There's that user interaction that really can make an experience that much more, especially with narrative games where it's not you're controlling a character. So you might be forced to do something that you as an individual don't want to do, but the character is driving that. And that's where it's like, that is something where it puts the player into a realm that you can't get anywhere else. Lots of people, easy answer is experience like the Last of Us for the first time and the intro with that and going through what the characters go in at the beginning of the game. That's a gut-wrenching experience. And there's other examples that I'm sure we'll be able to bring up, but they're the first items that really come up in my head. How about yourself? What would be the top subject to answer that question?
Well, I think for me, it's just like definitely for me, one of them is definitely just Nintendo themselves. Growing up as a kid, like I didn't really have that many friends and I was kind of shy here and there. And it always felt like when I played a Nintendo game that I knew these characters, I knew these worlds, this challenge I knew I had to overcome because it felt like I was helping a friend getting further into the game. And the more I played on Nintendo and the more I enjoyed their games and hearing the music and learning the stuff, it made me just a better person. It gave me some comfort and everything. So just finding the beauty with Nintendo and their products, it always felt like as a kid, I didn't even recognize quality. Like I didn't know what was a bad game or what was a amazing, iconic game. To me was I want to see how further I could go, get my skill better, and then go. Cause like when I played The Legend of Zelda 2, I was just like, this game is questionable content because I was a kid and I was just like, I'm fighting with this butter knife, all this weaponry going on, and I tried so much, and I think it was the one game that I was kind of sad by Nintendo because it was just like, this game is too hard for me. I don't know what's going on. But then I played like Super Mario Brothers 2, Super Mario Brothers 3, when I found out about the wizard. And a lot of games ended up being in there. I had to get my mom be like, I had to go see this movie because I was so, into video games, but so much into Nintendo. So just seeing throughout my livelihood how Nintendo has been presenting games. And yes, there's been some questionable things here and there, but the games that came from them from their company as a first party thing, I've always enjoyed and always supported and experienced. And it allowed me to understand why Sony and Microsoft put out the games because I think they're beautiful also. I think they put out some great quality titles. And even though I might have some opinions about some of their works and stuff, because of Nintendo, I hold Nintendo up to a high standard. What I learned from them, I could apply to the other companies, but and enjoy their products too. I love seeing the creativity. Looking how it's not Insomniac. I think Naughty Dog, how they took the Smash characters, the
Hmm.
artist, and he just drew them in a special way, and I'm
Oh
like,
yeah.
that's so cool. And then
Yep.
seeing Microsoft and Nintendo like talk about things and doing business deals and stuff with Minecraft. It's just like this is amazing to see, you
No,
know.
agreed. Yeah. But also like talking about the single player aspect of it, I think at least for me later on in life, the multiplayer aspect of games is equally as beautiful. When Wii came out and Wii Sports, that was something where like my parents hated games when I was growing up. But when this came out and I brought it over on Thanksgiving that year, I was lucky enough to get one day one, and it came out like a week before Thanksgiving. And we had Thanksgiving at my parents' place, and I brought it over, and they were like, seeing me and my brothers, you know, waving this remote control around. They're like, "What? All right, this is just too out there." But that got them involved. That got them to try, and that was something I could never say would be something that could be tried.
Right.
In my family growing up. So, and I know that other families and friends, the Wii did that. Other games like that for me were Rock Band. Like
Yeah.
my brothers both played instruments growing up. I didn't. So, but I was able to pick up the drums in that game because it's just rhythm and timing, and I like puzzle games. So I was able to apply that. And then also my parents would get involved because they would pick up the microphone. They would see me, my brothers, my friends all goofing around, and I think that would happen more and more, even if people were playing it at a party. There's enough of that. Wait, what the heck is going on there? I gotta try this. That has really become, in that age of the mid 2000s, that really started taking off, and that's I think something that is just an awesome experience. I mean, we see it with TV shows
Hmm.
and even with some movies as well. Of you feel that you're missing out on something if you're not a part of a TV series and people talking about it. But games do it in a much better way, in my opinion, because it's an experience that not only the one player gets, but everybody in that room is experiencing all together. I think that's just an incredible thing.
It's good that you mentioned that because uh, when we talk about media like TV and music and entertainment, we see that certain games strive for that they're trying to be cinematic. They're trying to
Hmm.
put like have this big orchestrated stuff. But sometimes in games they're able to hit, I think, a little bit harder because of the interactivity. I always talk about Papa and Yo, where the game kind of deals about alcohol abuse and everything, and what it leads to. When I talk about Rye and what that ending is, and just the connection. Like I love The Last Guardian for PlayStation
Hmm.
4. Um and I think it didn't get its due because of all the delays, and when
Yeah.
it finally came out, the controls, people had a problem with it, but I understood what it was going for, and it gave me, I've never felt emotional feels in from games, like crying and feeling stuff like that, but there was something about that game putting something out of me that I
Hmm.
didn't want the journey to end. I I kind of was just like, I kind of want you to stay forever, because I've even though I'm controlling this main character, and he's helping Trico out to get to the end of the game and like free his free stuff. It was a emotional journey that I was saddened when it ended because it's
Yeah.
just like that's how attached to these characters I got. You know, even when there's a part where Chico sees some waters and he's taking a bath
Hmm.
and he gets out and he shakes and your character's like, ah, and
Yep.
it was just so funny and childlike and humorous. I think when games do stuff like that, it just shows the beauty of it. It's just not people having a stereotype that, oh, there's just some man that's in the basement playing this.
Hmm.
I'm like, don't nobody spend their time in the basement playing games, you know? And not the parents are not buying the games for these people. There are parents who are buying games for themselves
Yeah.
and everything, you know. That stigma for it. I'm like, I guess sometimes that when people don't see the beauty of video games, they don't understand that, you know, there's a game like Hellblade, so in a sacrifice that people are playing that deals with um uh then what's the issue? Um with shit with all the voices in her head. And I cannot think of it.
Oh, like schizophrenia? Is
Schizophrenia,
that it?
yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I
Dealing
haven't
with
played
that,
that game, so
yeah.
unfamiliar with it.
David is playing it right now at
Oh,
this time,
nice.
and I there is a so me and Corey that has a show called Pod and Play, and we covered that game. I might post it on my Twitter for people to read, for people to see, because
Okay.
it's we had a really good conversation about that, and I think we was talking about when games go into themes and address them, and you are able to experience them. Sometimes it's helpful, sometimes it's a reminder, and sometimes it may be painful for some people because they
Yeah.
experience through that. But that's kind of the beauty of video games nowadays, because back in the day it was always about high score and beating
Hmm.
the game.
Yeah. No, agreed. Even stemming off that, like big emotional connections, I would say, with the Uncharted 4.
Yes.
Now, I'm a big fan of the series, so day one purchase after the first one, I borrowed off of a buddy, and I was like, oh, I gotta buy this game. So, and then the other one's day one for me, and then with Uncharted 4, with the way that it was wrapping up as Drake and Elena are driving up that mountain after all the crap that Drake put her through, and then she's still there, and the conversation that they're having, it's like, man, this is. It, I felt guilty, like I did something wrong, and it was an experience that you don't get through a TV show. You
Right.
feel bad for the character. You don't have any remorse that you feel like you were a part of. And I did in that scenario. It's like, man, I've been on this journey now for 4 games with these characters, and it's approaching the end, and everything that that they went through still there and have each other's back, and just seeing some of the things that the interaction during that, it's like, man, this is one of the best experiences that I've ever been a part of,
It's
and that's something I'm just thrilled that we have this medium to be able to have that experience with.
it's that rich narrative that these
Hmm.
games tell, and that like I wasn't a big fan of BioWare until my friend
Hmm.
got me into the Mass Effect series. And we was working at Toys R Us, and the Mass Effect trilogy came out, so I played it all the way on PS3. But every day I was playing it, when I see him, I had to say, I had to talk to you. What is
Yeah.
going on with this character? I did this, I should, and he'll be like, no, I did this, and like he played the series first before me, and when I started playing it, he replayed it again, and we was comparing notes and stuff. And it's just like when you have rich narrative that you are enjoying, definitely when you're making moral choices, a moral choice in a game will make you feel
Oh,
guilty or not, to be like, ooh, why did I make that choice? This is not a
yeah.
good
When
icon.
there's when there's repercussions for it, it's like, ah, crap, I could have saved that guy, or this town could be saved. I mean, one of my first experiences with different opinion or different options would be Fallout 3, and right away you're hit with something with Nuketown. with what to do with it. And like you could blow up a whole city or a whole town right away. And it's like, it really paves the way for what you're going to do to the rest of that game. And
Yes.
that's a very exciting thing to do.
And I think that's why when people get into the open world genre, the whatever they want to do with Grand Theft Auto, that's fine. But like me, it was like Saints Row 3. Like I'm driving a car with a tiger in it that's swiping at me. You don't see this in like
No,
movies or readings and books, and literally laugh. And your goal is to get to the safe spot with this tiger swiping at you, and it's just like this is insane. You
yeah,
know, but there's also, I think, one of the things, and of course, a lot of people we talk about music and graphics, but I think I love it when because me and Corey had to talk about graphics when people do different things, like talking about the 2D hand drawn and green, or
hmm
seeing Okami with the uh, the Ikkyo art style. I'm probably saying it wrong. And it's just like even Beautiful Joe having that comic book feel,
oh
but
yeah,
then looking at Gears 5 and just be like, good googly moogly, this looks amazing. Uncharted 4,
yeah.
there's some areas that they pan out and they got this big scene, and you just like, goodness, Naughty Dog, y'all didn't have to go so hard on
No,
this.
but they did, and
Yes.
and we get the benefit the fact that they did because they built these worlds and they know that we're involved and invested in it, and that's the reward to be able to have that 10 seconds of, oh my God, look at the scale or the scope of this scenario, and it makes playing these games that much worth it, to be able to be a part of something like that.
Yeah, and then we got indie games now,
Oh yeah,
and that's just open. It's weird that because like when you look back in the day, when you think of indie, you just thought of PC games.
hmm
Like the earlier versions of Cave Story or Eddie and Hominid, where you would put it like in a little screen and play with the keyboards and stuff.
yeah.
You know, um, and now you look at it, you choose some indie games can like give a AAA game a run for its money.
Oh yeah. No, a bunch of my favorite games over the past couple of years are indie games, and they're games that I look forward to. Especially even with like Kickstarter, where
Yes,
you feel like you're even more of a part of that game before it comes out because you're traveling with the game development of, oh, we added these features because we hit this stretch goal and such. And then when it comes out and it's a success, and then you hear other people and more mainstream, or even people that aren't as big into gaming that we are, talk about it. And it's like, wow, this was a big success. Like you see it with Hollow Knight. Hollow Knight is just considered to be just a top tier game now.
yes.
And Team Cherry, I don't know how they work the magic. I'm a big fan of Metroidvanias, and that game is near perfect as a Metroidvania. And they created something, and it's just incredible that that's one of my most anticipated games is the follow up for that, and that put it right up at the top with God of War Ragnarok. Where if like you look at them on the surface, like you're saying, hand drawn 2D versus the power of what Santa Monica's can do with their tech. No,
Yes.
it still doesn't matter. They're still comparable in the fact that they are a video game and they both have similar but different experiences that they can provide.
Yeah, like if you look at Hades, it got Game of the Year.
Yeah.
Like that's crazy that an indie game could be out any whatever AAA game that came out. It took Ray. It took number one,
hmm
And I think now definitely with video games being so more open and people being more welcoming to the platform, we still deal with the console war. That is the beauty part of the beauty of video games, that you are going
hmm
to have people have these debates, but there's also going to be people who look at the debate as of course childish, but they're going to be like, this kind of tells me that you're not ready to open up yet and play these other games, because if you're using this certain argument and you're using these certain examples of games, you're missing out on a whole lot. Because now I think with modern gaming, a lot of us are open. A lot of us can celebrate different genres of games. Don't like we talked about JRPGs back in the day being so niche and then not really a lot of people playing them, even when they came to PlayStation 1. Now you look at it, man, a Persona 5 dropped on Switch, people are going crazy. If it
Oh
dropped
yeah.
on Xbox, they're going crazy. You know, they can't wait for a JRPG game to be mentioned so people could go and play it, whether they're know the creators or they know the series and stuff. People are willing to go and support it, and that's
Hmm.
such a good thing.
No, without a doubt. Yeah, it's very exciting to, see different genres really explode, and gain popularity like that. Like you mentioned Hades, it's a roguelike, but that's one of the things that has deterred me from trying it. But the more and more I hear about it, it's like, all right, I just gotta be able to bite the bullet if it's really gaining this much attention from all of these other people that I know have similar interest in, maybe I hear about it from somebody that really likes Zelda. Okay, great. But then I also hear about it from somebody who really likes Tetris. Also great. And it's like, all right, I got to be able to put my previous frustrations with that genre away and just be able to try and experience this game. And that's where, the excitement of hearing some genres and games really blow up. That's gets me excited to try something new.
Yeah, and I think that's part of the beauty. You know, you hearing about Hades, the way I heard about Mass Effect, trying something new.
Hmm.
And even if it's something that you are excited about that I've never heard of, I'm now willing to give it a try to be like,
Yep.
what is this game that Jack is interested in? Okay, let me try it, and then just be like, okay, this is fun, or I have questions.
Yeah, yeah, exactly.
you
It could
know,
bring up the conversation, in and of itself, going, "What the hell did you see in this that I'm not?" And they're just as fun as having conversations where you're both on the same page. They're
yes.
both engaging.
And I think that's kind of why uh and that we it led to like stuff like Talk the Walk, because there
Mhm.
wasn't a podcast that I knew of talking about walking simulators. You know,
And I just gotta chime in and say that series has gotten me to try walking simulators, something I had no interest in, and listen to a couple of the episodes that you guys covered. And What Remains of Edith Finch is one
oh,
of my favorite games that I played in recent memory. It's incredible. The story was just so bizarre and out there, and also the gameplay that you take place. It's just like, but I never would have even attempted. I would have skipped over that game a million times, whether it was on sale for $2 or if it was full price. I never would have paid attention to it.
yeah.
But hearing so many people talk it up, that's where it's like, all right, I really need to give this a shot.
I sat down just like, you know what, I'm going to play this game because a lot of people are recommending it, and I sat down, played it. Took me 2 to 3 days, and I was just like, I have to talk to somebody about this game. And when I found out Celeste enjoyed it, and we have another person that enjoyed it,
Mm-hmm.
I was just like, okay, we got to sit down and talk about it. Yes, that was our first talk to. I think our first talk to walk, and it was like 2 or 3 hours. But we were so just like enamored with that game, with the
Yeah.
stories, and yeah, it has some issues here and there, but it was just like playing that. Did you finish it or anything?
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah.
Okay.
I finished it, and then I even my sister-in-law, I brought it up to her. She never heard about it. I bought her a Nintendo gift card, and just said, "Buy this game." She still hasn't played it. She plans on playing it on her flight back to California in a couple of days. So I hope that she has the same experience, but I felt the need to pass it along. So yes.
When she get to the baby in the bathtub
Oh
section.
God. Yeah. Oh
Oh,
Jesus. Yeah.
I I was just like I enjoyed it because
Yep.
they went there.
Yep.
And I knew something was going to happen because that's part of the game. But it was just
Yep.
like I can't believe that they're doing this,
No, of
and
course. Yeah.
and it was just like it's not it's pushing a medium and it's pushing the narrative, and it's just not like well we could tell or do anything that we want to do in video games. No, it's not that a lot of the stuff that they're pushing has a reason and you
Hmm.
feel something about it. You know that you can't change it. You know you can't control it or try to go in and fix it and stuff. You literally have to watch it and
Yeah.
take it in and take time for yourself, and it makes you think, it makes you want to talk to people. We did go home. We like Greed was our last one. We're going to
Hmm.
be coming back doing Firewatch. Trust me and Stephanie and Celeste are, and we got some other guests that's probably going to be joining us. We
Nice.
have a lot to talk about. But then there's a cancer named Dragon that none
Uh,
of us have touched yet.
I'm familiar with why the game was made and the surface of it, so I haven't played it. I believe it's only on PC, correct?
Yeah, it's only on
Yeah.
PC.
Yeah. And
The
that sounds so incredible. You know, the premise from what I've heard. So,
There is a story. He was featured. Him and his wife was featured in Wired
okay.
about that game. And even when he, even when he was demoing it and stuff, he just like he took it to I think PAX or something, and he let people play it and stuff. He just like people had to put the controller down and walk away because they was all in tears about
Yeah.
that game. Even he himself, he was just like he was demoing it for the writer who wrote the story for Wire, and he he got to the point and started crying, and it was just like that is kind of the beauty and kind of impactful thing when a game makes you feel something. I talked to
Yeah.
emotional state like with the Last Guardian, but when we talked about Grief, I didn't know the game was about death or
Hmm.
grieving. I was just like I'm on an adventure, and my thing was I'm bringing color back to the world.
Yeah.
I didn't think about all these things. I talked to David from uh another Zelda podcast, Celeste and Stephanie, both of them, all three of them from another Zelda podcast. Uh and just having that talk and learning from each of them, just to be like, I didn't recognize this. Like it was learning, it was a new educational experience to me because I didn't know.
Yeah. Yeah. It's exciting to be able to, and like as a listener, it's exciting because y- you pick up on certain things that people didn't have, and you feel like you're a part of the conversation. And that's where I
Yes.
was like, all right, and other games that you guys have covered, I will might raise up onto my desired playlist, or I'll rush through it, so then I can listen, because it's part of the thing. I think it's better experience to play the game and then be able to listen to it.
Yes.
It's a form of interaction without a even interaction.
Yes, that's one of the things when it comes to like podcasting that I mentioned this before that a lot of people know that when I hear a podcast, my first thing is I want to react. I want to say
Hmm.
something, and I can never sit back and just enjoy a podcast. There's some of them I can, but sometimes I just be like, I want to say something. I want to contribute to this. I want to write in and just like, or I want to chat to somebody if I can. Uh, I think that's kind of now kind of like the beauty of video games because podcasting for me personally started with OneUp.com because they listen to me personally. I feel like they the ones that started podcasting because they used to have the Run Up show, which was just like breaking down all the news. But then they started having general conversations, and every Friday when I got off of work or I got out of school, I was hitting them up. And I think that has carried me throughout the years that when we talk about video games, there's just any issue now about games. It's a great conversation. It's a great beauty that we could sometimes be on different pages, be able to respect each other, hear everybody out, and learn.
Yeah. Yeah, it's
You
good
know.
experiences to be able to get that feedback, from everybody.
Yes. So Jack, any last words uh
Uh,
about the video games? Oh, Portal 2. Portal 2 is
oh, oh,
hilarious.
dude,
Oh,
Portal
we
2 is
haven't
awesome.
look, we haven't even jumped into about writing in some of
Oh,
these
look,
games.
I got the Portal gun right there. No, yeah, I love Portal 2. Yeah,
I
the writing is incredible. Cave Johnson, one of the best characters, and you don't even see him. You just hear previous recordings about, the way that this madman operated. That's fantastic. That's not something that you can get anywhere else. And that's a repeating theme that I'm having here is, comparing it to other forms of media, but that is really what separates it.
man, who is the evil antagonist in that game? What's her name?
GLaDOS.
Gladys.
Yeah.
She is evil and shady.
Oh, without a doubt.
It's the delivery about her shadiness that I
Yep.
would just crack up. She's just like, and you're supposed to die, so
Yeah.
go home. Go for it. Yeah,
Yeah.
go and try it. She's like,
Fantastic.
press the button. I'm just like, you evil woman.
Yeah.
Port, and the thing about it is, I felt like when Portal 2 came out, I felt like it didn't deserve its Game of the Year award, and then I played it. I'm just like, yep, they made the right
Yeah.
choice.
It's
I
fantastic.
love that game.
Oh, it's so good. The co-op was great as well. Yeah, and the first one's fantastic too. But the second one does exactly what a sequel should do. Just expand upon and add things that make sense to the world, and it did. It really blew me away the first time I got to play through the whole story.
Ah, yes. Speaking of writing, A Question Paper Mario series is funny.
Oh yeah,
Man, Mario and Luigi inside Bowser's story.
man.
I probably paused that game about 20 times and fell out laughing. I tell people about this about the Origami King. I was just
Mhm.
like, it's a beautiful game. I think people should play, but go for the writing. The
Yeah,
writing is hilarious because
yeah.
it's so good. And I think I love writing in games because when the comedy is high, I enjoy the game more.
Oh, without a doubt. It needs to be delivered at the right time. That's the real difficult thing with comedy is timing is so hard to be measured with that. But the Mario RPGs, whether it's, Paper Mario or the Mario Luigi Saga series, they did it so well on so many different instances, and they just nail it, game and game and game.
Treehouse is just amazing. They
Yeah.
localization is on point,
Yeah.
and everything. So, but now, Jack, anything you want to talk about the video games? Or do you think we missed anything?
No, I think that covered everything that I got to see. Other, yeah, the single player, the multiplayer, and then just the interaction can have that can happen with fans of the series is just something very exciting. I would just say, if you're listening to this, play a genre that you haven't before because you're probably missing out on something and you
Just
don't know it.
man, if Val or EA brought Portal 2 to Switch.
I really wish so because it's stuck on my PS3 and I'm afraid to turn that damn thing on because
Say,
I think it's going to blow up the next time I turn it on. So
me and you are right
yeah,
here.
yeah,
Say,
I would just like to even if they upgraded just the PS4, like I want to play it again, but I don't know if my PS3 can handle it. And I'm sure I could get it on Steam, but I don't know if I have a computer strong enough to be able to handle it. I just wish I had the ability to replay it. And yeah, if it was on Switch, it would be perfect. I got very excited when they announced, "Oh, Portal is coming to the Switch," and it's the Bridge Constructor. I'm like, "Ah, come on! What kind of?"
that.
Yeah, I don't know. This isn't what I want. Give me Portal 1 and 2, and I'll be more than happy.
Oh, they do that.
Oh,
I would pay $40 for a collection. I would
yeah,
be like, let me pre-purchase this Nintendo and
yeah, but
this thing and Valve.
you know Valve, with their Steam Deck coming out, they're not going to be budging on that stuff. They're just going to be trying to get another four or five, $600 out of more people like you and I, and I'm
Well,
holding my ground. I'm not buying one of them, not just yet. They got more convincing to do.
you know what? I personally feel like I don't need it. It's
No,
just
that's where I am. You know, as much as I love Portal, that's not enough to get me. And I love Half-Life from, what I have played, but it's not enough to have me invest on an expensive gaming unit.
I think I need to revisit. Well, not revisit. I need to play Half Life 1 and 2 because I've never finished those games, and I want to know why it's held as some of the best first person shooters.
Yeah, I've only played Half-Life 2, and I played episode 1 and 2, the continuation of it. It
Mm.
was on the orange box on PS3, and I got to play them there, and it's very good, especially considering how long ago that they were made. Just that they're fantastic. The stories are good. The gameplay is fun. You owe it to yourself to at least play Half-Life 2. I can't speak to Half-Life 1.
Okay. Well, everybody, that has been our expression pass. Thank you, Jack, for joining me on this one. If you guys want to let us know what do you think about the video games, you can follow us at Bosch Rush Network on Twitter, and also check us out on Bosch Rush Network on YouTube. Leave us something in the comments in our Discord also at Bosch Rush Network. Come join us there. We would love to hear what you guys think about the video games. What makes video games beautiful for you? With that, everybody, we will see you next time on Expression Pass. Bye, everybody.
See ya.